On September 12, 2003, in the city of Norfolk, Virginia, USA, Madison Elizabeth was born to the family of Heather Sperow and Richard Prestige. The girl had two sisters, older Gwendolyn, who was born in February 1999 in Durango, Colorado, from Richard's previous relationship, and younger Molly, who was born on October 5, 2010, and became Madison's best friend. Eventually, the family settled in Newark, Newcastle County, Delaware. Madison, being the oldest of 8 cousins, adored children and always found time to play with them, organizing fun magic shows. She had an infectious laugh and a cheerful disposition, although sometimes she became withdrawn and pensive. Her father noted her wisdom from an early age. The girl first observed and pondered before reacting. Madison was very loving and could lift anyone's mood with her hugs. Loved ones and friends valued her loyalty and care for those she loved. The inquisitive Madison loved to learn and experiment, so she joined the Girl Scouts, a worldwide youth movement for girls. At the end of 2012, when all local troops were overcrowded, Madison's mom became their first leader. At the age of 9, the girl joined the Brownie section for girls aged 7 to 10. Madison was one of the best cookie sellers for several years and received several badges for exemplary performance of her duties. During nearly 10 years in the Girl Scouts, she found wonderful friends. Later, she volunteered to help in the troop of her younger sister Molly, eager to work with youth and make a difference. Madison, driven by the oath to serve God, country, always help people, and live by the Girl Scout laws, was a kind-hearted girl. Like all young girls, Madison loved entertainment and even in her teens remained the queen of pranks. She constantly planned parties with friends, from movie nights to sleepovers with makeup, manicures, and pedicures. Madison could stay up all night, but, unsurprisingly, wouldn't wake up before 2 p.m. the next day. Before finishing elementary school, Madison met Anika Stalczynski, a peer who was born in Newark on July 9, 2003. They quickly became close friends and prepared for exams together. Little is known about Anika's life, only that her parents were named Robert Stalczynski and Robin Kearns, and in 2004 the family lived on Aaron McDrive in Newark. After finishing junior high, Anika and Madison moved on to high school, where they met new friends, including the third key character in this story, Noah Sharp. He was also born in Newark, on August 23, 2001. Little is known about his background and family life, except that his mother Nikia Sharp had 2 more children, David and Brianna. Inseparable friends loved to enjoy ice cream together and take long walks in the green outskirts of the city. But when Noah and Madison met, a spark ignited between them, and within a few months, a teenage romance blossomed. At first, they were head over heels in love, but in early 2020, after just over a year of dating, Madison decided to break up with Noah for no apparent reason. The young people parted on good terms, agreeing to remain friends, but the boy was devastated because he still loved her. Meanwhile, Anika became Noah's confidant. They met more often and exchanged messages almost daily. Although Noah's heart was broken, he eventually started dating another girl. Despite the romance with Noah, Anika did not stop communicating with Madison. She even came to her 17th birthday on September 12, 2020, with a gift. That day, Heather, the birthday girl's mom, noticed that Noah was still upset about the breakup. When Anika found out about this meeting, she was overcome with jealousy. She could not accept that her loved one continued to be friends with his ex-girlfriend and burned with hatred. Resentful of Noah and filled with anger, Anika wanted to hurt Madison for not suffering as much as he did. The following week, blinded by hatred and jealousy, Anika and Noah began to plan how to take Madison's life. Through text messages, FaceTime, and in-person meetings, they exchanged ideas about possible weapons and ways to get rid of the body after committing the crime. The messages the teens shared while devising their plan were chilling and indicated their intent to make the girl suffer. Anika suggested several options to Noah, including inflicting a fatal stab wound to the heart, but they also discussed the possibility of using a shotgun or a baseball bat. According to official documents, they quickly rejected the idea of using a shotgun due to the loud noise. And although Noah was hesitant, they settled on the idea of using a blunt object. During these conversations, they even calculated how many bricks would be needed to prevent Madison's body from surfacing if they decided to throw it into the water. If doubts arose, they planned to bury her, as Noah could dig a hole and knew where to get shovels. Eventually, they came up with what they thought was the perfect plan. Madison loved ice cream as much as she loved Halloween. Her cheerful nature waited all year for October to celebrate her favorite holiday for a whole month. Anika knew her friend's tastes well, so on Friday, October 2, 2020, she called her, suggesting they enjoy ice cream and spend the day together. Madison immediately agreed. She hadn't seen Anika for a long time and wanted to buy a gift for Molly, whose birthday was in 3 days. That day, Madison dressed in black tights, denim shorts, gray boots, a blue sweatshirt with New Jersey written on it, and finally attached white ghost-shaped earrings, preparing for Halloween. At 2:44 p.m., she said goodbye to Heather, telling her that she would see her later, and left. It was the last time her mother saw her alive. A few hours later, Heather began receiving self-deprecating text messages from Madison's number, saying that the girl was leaving the country. The mother thought it was a joke, so she replied that she wished her daughter success in her plans and reminded her that she had forgotten her passport, which was in the safe. However, Madison did not respond, and although Heather repeatedly called her, she did not pick up the phone. When the woman received these messages, she was out with Molly, taking her to scout classes and swimming. Heather did not understand what was happening, but the lack of response made her start to worry. Then she decided to call Anika, knowing about their plans to meet during the day. When the girl answered, she burst into tears and said that Madison had offended her, so she had dropped her friend off near a store. Then Anika suggested contacting Noah, although Heather had already tried to call him, but to no avail. Then the woman asked Anika to try again. Despite talking to Noah, Heather did not receive any information. Confused, she decided to return home. On the way, the woman received several messages from her daughter's friends, who had also received strange texts from Madison, and they wanted to know what had happened. Upon arriving home, Heather searched for any traces that would indicate her daughter had run away but found nothing. Even the money given to her for her birthday, clothes, and credit card were in the girl's room. These messages were extremely strange and incomprehensible. Madison had no reason to run away, especially without her purse, clothes, and money. Around 8:30 p.m., when the girl still hadn't returned, Heather called 911 and reported her daughter missing. Then the woman continued to contact people, but all attempts were in vain. Upon learning about what had happened, Heather's parents came from another city to help her. In addition, she informed Madison's ex-husband, whom she was divorced from. He lived in Colorado but immediately posted information on social media asking for help in finding his daughter. The next day, on Saturday, October 3, 2020, the Delaware State Police Troop 2 issued a gold alert for 17-year-old Madison. Such a notification triggers all the necessary procedures for searching for a missing person. In the state of Delaware, it is activated in the case of a missing teenager. For 2 days, police search teams, family members, and dozens of friends combed farm fields near the University of Delaware, where Madison was last seen alive. Local media also published search notices calling for any information to be provided. Meanwhile, Delaware State Police officers began questioning Madison's friends, and all the evidence pointed to her ex-boyfriend. According to some reports, the girl went to the wooded area behind the elementary school, where Noah was also spotted that day. Then the detectives detained and interrogated the boy for almost 9 hours from October 4 to October 5. After telling several conflicting stories and insisting that he did not know what had happened to Madison, the young man finally broke down, shocking everyone. He not only confessed to killing the girl but also stated that Anika was his accomplice. Noah told the police that Anika hated Madison out of jealousy towards him. He also admitted how much the breakup with the girl had hurt him. According to Noah, Anika drove Madison to the wooded area behind the elementary school. As they walked along the path, he crouched behind the bushes with an aluminum baseball bat in his hands. The boy told the officers how Madison was happy to talk to her friend, not expecting what was in store for her. Then, according to him, he suddenly jumped out of the ambush and hit the girl on the head twice. Noah confessed that he put all his strength into the second blow, adding that it was at that moment that he finally snapped. After months of accumulating anger towards the girl who had broken his heart, he couldn't restrain himself and dealt several more blows to her body. After the attack on Madison, the couple transported the body in Anika's car to a spot under a bridge located near the intersection of Interstate 95 and Delaware State Road, about a 15-minute drive from the crime scene and near a warehouse. Upon arriving at the location, they tried to drown the body in the river. But when that failed, they decided to hide it in a shallow grave dug right there. Using the information provided by the boy, the detectives thoroughly searched the area he specified. There they found the aluminum baseball bat used as the murder weapon, with traces of blood on it. At the crime scene, they also found the clothes Madison had left home in, partially burnt. The suspect then led investigators to a wooded area near the intersection of Interstate 95 and Delaware State Road, where he and his accomplice had buried the body. Junior Corporal Heather Piper reported the discovery on Monday, October 5, 2020. The news stunned Madison's family, her friends, and society as a whole. A few days later, on Friday, October 9, hundreds of people gathered on the high school football field to honor the victim's memory. The autopsy showed that Madison's death was caused by a blow to the head with a blunt object. In addition, experts found Noah and Anika's DNA on physical evidence collected both at the crime scene and where the body was found. The boy was charged with first-degree murder, possession of a deadly weapon during the commission of a crime, and first-degree conspiracy. He was placed in a correctional facility on $1 million bail. On Monday, November 16, 2020, more than a month after the tragic event and after processing the necessary evidence, 17-year-old Anika was also arrested. This happened after the New Castle County grand jury charged the girl with first-degree murder, possession of a deadly weapon during the commission of a felony, and first-degree conspiracy. Meanwhile, Madison's family was devastated. Heather repeatedly stated that a reasonable reason would never be found to explain why her daughter's life was taken. Her main request to the court was that the criminals would never be able to harm themselves or others again. Despite Noah's confession to detectives, during the official indictment in court, he pleaded not guilty. In response, it was suggested that his defense might claim the defendant was mentally ill. At one of the preliminary hearings, the lawyer representing his interests reported that at the time of the murder, Noah was suffering from possible schizophrenia and was under the supervision of a psychiatrist. She also claimed that about 3 weeks before the crime, the boy was injured in Chester County, Pennsylvania. The lawyer explained that as a result of the head injury, her client experienced memory lapses and other problems. However, she did not specify either the cause of the injury or its severity. However, in May 2021, Anika pleaded guilty to charges of first-degree murder and conspiracy. Her lawyers made a deal with prosecutors in which the girl agreed to testify against Noah and his plan to take Madison's life. According to court documents, several people, including the victim's loved ones, informed the police that they knew about Noah's alleged alter ego, that is, a second personality. However, as prosecutors claimed, it was the boy who spread this information. After 2 long years of waiting for justice, on October 20, 2022, the trial of the accused began in New Castle County, during which about 30 witnesses were heard, most of whom were called by Deputy Attorneys General Matt Frawley and John Downs. Hourly video recordings of Noah's interrogations by state police investigators were shown in the New Castle County courtroom. The audience heard his changing stories until he finally confessed. The defense tried to challenge this evidence, emphasizing that the police had interrogated their client for too long. Attorney Monica Jerome noted that the detectives had set up the interrogation, prompting Noah what to say and putting pressure on him. The prosecution also presented text messages exchanged between Noah and Anika while planning the crime. Faced with this evidence, the defense tried to convince everyone that someone else was controlling the defendant's device and that it was not him who corresponded with the girl. Noah's mother and brother were called to testify and contradicted each other several times. Nikia stated that her son was not wet when he returned home on the evening of October 2, while David claimed that his brother was wet and looked as if he had crawled into some swamp. Nikia reported that shortly after her son returned home, Anika entered the house calmly. On the other hand, David stated that the girl came in angry, slamming the door. In addition, prosecutor Matt Frawley asked Nikia if she had discussed the evidence against Noah with him. She answered in the negative. However, prosecutors played an audio recording of a phone conversation between the defendant and his mother a month before the trial, where evidence recorded by surveillance cameras at the elementary school was discussed. In this conversation, Noah told his mother that in the video where they are walking near the school an hour before Madison's murder, his face is not visible. To which the woman reacted with relief. However, the video shows an African American man of the same height and build as Noah, with a baseball bat in his hands, walking with a girl into the woods. The defense also questioned the head injury that the young man allegedly received on September 13, 2020, and another unproven blow he suffered after falling off a bicycle a few hours before the police interrogation on October 4. Noah's lawyers suggested that these blows could have caused dissociative amnesia, trying to justify his conflicting testimony. In response, prosecutors expressed doubt as to whether the injury was simply part of a conspiracy to murder Madison, which the defense did not argue very confidently about. According to reports, Anika confirmed all the prosecution's arguments during her testimony in court, which lasted about 3 hours. She calmly recounted how Noah convinced her that Madison was speaking badly about her behind her back. However, the victim's relatives and loved ones emphasized that she never spoke negatively about her friends. Finally, after 8 days of court hearings and over 250 pieces of physical evidence presented by the prosecution, the jury took no more than 3 hours to reach a final verdict and hand it over to Judge Ferris Wharton. On Thursday, October 27, 2022, before the verdict was announced, the judge urged those present to remain calm. 22-year-old Noah Sharp was found guilty on all charges, including first-degree murder, and sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. When the jury's decision was announced, Noah and his mother did not react in any way. Instead, the Sperow family burst into tears of relief. Before leaving the courtroom, Noah turned and looked at his mother with a smile. In Anika's case, after the sentencing, prosecutors stated that under Delaware state law, she was recommended for life imprisonment with the possibility of parole after 30 years, as she was a minor at the time of the crime. I look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. Until next time, friends.